So resuming from our last class, we eventually worked on creation of alignment, how we could actually generate our alignment using the existing polyline, and also we worked on certain things, how we brought in our master plan. Maybe the planners actually worked on a particular master plan, so how we could actually bring that on our surface design and commence our design. So thereafter we proceeded to generate our surface profile, then the design profile, which will be the finished ground level for our road. So we were able to come up with that before we actually ended the class the last time. So today we'll be continuing our work. We're actually starting with intersections. The intersection is just as straightforward as just clicking one or two commands to generate the intersection of the road. And one thing this intersection command does is to link corresponding road to the profile or to the grade level of the other road that is being linked to. Like here we have this particular road running from the north down to the south, and this particular one going towards the west, and then which forms a crescent to actually discharge this traffic back to the same road. So we'll be doing the intersection on this and see how it affects the profile on the profile view. So to do that, right from your design, grade design panel, you can see intersection. If you click on intersection, from the drop down you see create intersection, create roundabout. What you want to create here is just intersection, so you click on create intersection. So once I click on create intersection, I go to the point whereby the two roads intersect. Okay, yours is not coming out. This is it. This is the intersection. It's because you have a smaller screen, that's why it's not being coming out for it. So you select the intersection, then once you click on create intersection, you go to the point where the two road alignments on the plan intersect. So on clicking on the point of intersection, you see the intersection wizard dialog box coming up for you. You have to make sure you select zoom out. No, yeah, go in again. Still have to go in, make sure your intersection snap is on, and then you select the point of intersection.
Yes, this one.
Intersection snap is always an X icon which comes up whenever you want to select. Like now, if I should zoom in on my design, you can see the X.
Yeah.
You make sure where is the alignment. Okay, the alignment is there. There's so many information around this area. So if you have challenge like what we have now, that we couldn't pick the point of intersection, all I always do is I'll drag some labels out of that point so I can have a better view of my point of intersection. Like this one here, I'll just drag this label out. Can you see now? Once I drag out the label, call up my command again, create intersection. So I might be chance to select that very easily now. Still I can't pick on. So once I get the point, just make sure you clear obstacles that might be on your way. So once I get the point, you can see the intersection command coming up on your screen. That's the wizard, create intersection wizard. So the first thing you see is the name. If you want to give that intersection a name, maybe you know the particular road that is coming, maybe is one about road, then the adjoining road is having a particular name. You can give a name. You can give it a name. So I will leave everything to default now. It's going to just assume the alignment name to give that particular intersection name. So description, if you want to add description to your intersection, you do that. So your intersection marker style, we leave it to basic as it is. We won't touch anything. But once we get to, same thing goes with the label style, we leave it to basic. But once we get to the intersection corridor type, at this point you are telling Civil 3D to make use of either the road crown should be maintained, the primary road crown should be maintained, or you want all the crowns to be maintained. What do you mean by primary road crown and all crowns? If you look at the diagrammatic representation of what we have here, the primary road is the major road in which supersedes or the other road takes grade from or takes level from. That's primary road. the primary road is the major road that runs across the entire length, but the secondary road takes access from the primary road. So like in this situation now, the primary road is the one running down from north, down to the south, whereby the one going east westward is the secondary road. So for us now make sure that the whole crown is maintained, we just select the all crowns maintained option, and we see the representation below the option we selected, how it's going to look like. So then we click on next. So on this particular page, this is where we see the alignment and the station whereby it is intersecting. The first one is road 1. The first one is road 1, which is the primary road. Based on the priority, you can see 1 and 2. The priority 1 is the primary road, and then the station at which the other one is touching it is at JNH 902.15. You can see the profile is using the design profile, and you can see the secondary road too, the beginning of that secondary road, which is 0.00. That's where it's taking its access from. So basically we're not actually dwelling more on the offset in this particular area now, which you learn more about later once you get used to the software. So you uncheck offset curves, returns, and so on like that. So once you uncheck that, you click next. Then you don't have anything to do on this region because we are not creating a 3D for this for now. Then we click on create intersection. Anything coming up? Yeah. So once you click on create intersection, you can then zoom out. You see your intersection 1, you tell you the alignment that is intersecting at that point, road 1, at the same time telling you the change. But one thing you now have to check is go to your profile and see what happens on your profile. That's go to your road 2 profile, because at this point your road 2 profile must be elevated to meet up with the grade of your road 1 profile. You didn't notice any change? Initially when you were designing your road 2 profile, you know your road 2 profile design started from the point of the ground. So if you want to confirm if it's actually true, just select that blue profile. If you select the blue profile, you see something like a padlock. Yeah. So if you place your mouse cursor on it, it will tell you something. PVI is dynamically locked to road 1, alignment road 1, profile, design profile, road 1. So that is telling us that there is a point of intersection at that area and your road has been locked to that particular profile. So at this point you are rest assured that your road is actually going to be flushing with the design. So you do for the second one too, which is for your other intersection end. So you repeat that same command. If you have any more any labels that might be obstructing you, the way we did for the first one, you drag them out of the way and then you do your command. So selecting create intersection, I'll click on my create intersection command. I click all crowns maintained. I go to my next, I uncheck this, go to my next, and I create.
All crowns maintained.
Yes.
And check boxes are code.
Yes. Yes. Is it done? Yeah. You have a padlock too at the end. If you go check. So that's how the whole thing rules like that. You create intersection, you confirm. So one thing again is from here now you can actually see obviously your road 2 intersects your road 1, but how do you mark out those points on your road 1 profile? That's another thing that will come to your mind. How do you exactly know? Because you have the road 1 profile now, you don't know where road 2 is actually intersecting on road 1 profile. So we actually do something we call projection. We project road 2 on road 1. Like we project the point of intersection of road 2 on road 1. So that's how we actually come up with creating an intersection point on the vertical profile. So the process of achieving that is, one, you create a block, and inside that block on the point of intersection or your plan view, like we have this is a plan view, the first intersection point. I insert the block here, and I come to my second point here, I insert another block
How do you insert the block?
I will yet to do that. We'll do that now. So first thing is just create a block, insert the block here, then come here again, you create another block. Then you go to your profile where you want to project, you select that profile, then you project the information where you have on your profile 2 on your profile 1. So let's do that now. First thing, like I said, is to insert a block. So we already have some customized blocks in the program. So all you have to do is to call it out. So I click on insert. You can see what I have here. These are blocks. So I click on insert block. I look for I use my normal arrow keys on my keyboard to search. Yeah, to search for one. I'm already seeing one which is called benchmark. I'm seeing one which is called benchmark now. So I'm going to select the benchmark, select OK, then zoom in. You can see I'll zoom in to that point of intersection and drop the benchmark. Then I repeat it again for the second point of intersection.
You can just press space bar.
Yes. So after inserting the 2 blocks, then I can move ahead to project my point of intersection on the needed profile, because it's on profile 1 I want to project my point of intersection. Because on profile 2 I already know the beginning and the end is where the 2 roads intersect or is linked to road 1. So I'll pick my road 2 profile and road 1 profile rather. Then from your dynamic ribbon, like always, which comes up whenever you select the Civil 3D object, on the launchpad panel you can see project object to profile view.
Yeah.
So you click on project object to profile view. So at this point, if you check your command line, the Civil 3D is asking you to select objects that you want to add to profile view. So you now go to your plan and you add those 2 blocks. You select those 2 blocks. Make sure you are selecting the block and not other thing. You select the 2 blocks. You select the 2 blocks. You can either press space bar, enter, or anyone after selecting them. So a dialog box comes up for you, asking you the style you want to use. You have various styles. Well, just leave it to basic for now. Don't disturb yourself about that. So on the elevation option, you use your designed profile 1, design road profile 1. So once you pick your design road profile 1, it will give you the corresponding elevation value immediately you select it.
Said under elevation value.
Under elevation option,
Okay.
you select design profile 1, so it will automatically give you the elevation value.
Okay.
Sure you get. So it gives you the elevation value automatically. You don't need to disturb yourself about that elevation value. Then you go straight to your label style. So on your label style, just pick project dimension above for both. Project dimension above. So you should be having what I have on my screen if you are doing it right.
What for benchmark 2?
For same thing.
Okay.
You do for benchmark 1, you do for benchmark 2. So you'll be having 394.9 depending on your own design grade and 390.7. So having done that, then I can select my OK. So if I select OK now, obviously you can see this is the point of intersection of my road. To give me the station at the same time the elevation at that point where my road intersects. I don't know if you get it. Are we good? Yes. Can zoom in on it. So that's the point of intersection of your road. So that's how we go. As many roads we have, because by now I thought you are good at practice with the other roads we have. Try and see how you can create the intersections, do the design profile, go ahead and run some of all these roads and see how you can go around the intersection and so on like that. So having done that, the next thing you can actually move straight forward into is your assembly creation. Your assembly is just more or less like if you are used to road design or road manuals very well. Basically, we have the curbs, we have the roadway, we have the veggies, we have shoulders, we have trenches. All these are called basic assembly in Civil 3D. When our real life or in our practice, we know them as just road components. You can have your lane, it might be dual carriage, it might be single lane, and so on. But in Civil 3D, we call them assemblies. So you can see them a lane, you can call it a shoulder, curbs, gutters, and so on and so forth. All these are just sub-assemblies which you add up to form a full assembly. And in a plain or in a layman statement, an assembly is just a typical section of a road. It's just a typical section of a road. So like we were saying when we were introducing ourselves to this class, you can turn on your tool palette. Turn on your tool palette, which is always under your beside your Toolspace, under your survey. If I turn on my tool palette, it's gonna come up on my right hand side. You see some basic templates of assemblies that has been generated by the vendor of the software. You see metric assemblies. You see for metric, you see for imperial, but we are working with metric, so we don't have to disturb ourselves about the imperial. Are we good?
Yeah.
So on the assembly tab, you see basic assembly. Sorry. You see basic lane, divided highway, primary road, and secondary flow road. So let's pick on this basic assembly and see what it looks like. You click on basic assembly, then you go to your workspace. Just click on any area of your workspace and drop. Okay. Then you can press escape to exit that command. So you can zoom in on it and see what it actually looks like.
Why is this stuff open?
Yeah, you can close it. It's the panorama. It gives you some information of your design information, if there are errors or there is anything at all about. So you always close that. So we zoom out what you have. You can see a typical section of the road. This is just a typical assembly. At this point now, these are what makes the assembly. Like here I have my sidewalk. This is a basic sidewalk that has veggies on both right and left. Then I have my curbs. This is my curb and gutter. A veg. Now when we sometimes in our typical design, a veg is always an allowance or a space meant for green space.
Green space?
Yes. What I mean by green space is you see all these plantings, like all these green grasses and green areas you have immediately after your road curbs. So you might not be seeing that in most of the cities down there, but in urban cities like here in Abuja, we have veggies. Whereby you have a veg, then you have a sidewalk, then after that sidewalk again you have veg. Meaning you have a veg for planting of trees, for planting
like
of
this road, sir.
Yes, there's a veg here. Immediately after you have a curb, then you have a veg, then you have your sidewalk. So that's how the whole thing works, like that. So your veg, then you have these your curbs, you have the roadway itself, and this is a dual carriage. You can see it's like a mirror of what you have on the right hand side, you have on the left hand side. So let's pick on another one, which is divided highway, and we'll see how it looks like. Then don't forget to press your escape to exit the command. So you can see the divided highway. This looks like a typical what's it called now, area 1 express road, whereby apart from the service lane which is not included here, you can see how it looks like. You have this typical road, at this point here we have shoulders here. We have a lane, then we have a shoulder, then we have this daylight parameter, which is either your cut or fill, depending is the daylight condition. So whenever it sees any area that it needs to cut, it cuts. Whenever it sees any area that it needs to fill, it fills. So at this point here, you can see where we have a ditch, like a ditch in between these before
The dish, yeah.
like a middle, what's it called now, trench.
Okay.
This is more or less like a trapezoidal trench now here, and this have this flat base that will come up again. Just try to view the one expressway when you were coming. You know, there's a service lane, the one just on the express lane. So you see how it looks like. This is just a typical section of that particular road. So same thing goes with this primary road full section. Just up them like that. These are just basic typical assembly that has been programmed with these two. So at this point we learn how to actually create our own. We've done enough. You said?
You can create your own.
Yes, you can create your own. All these are just their own basic templates. Our own road assembly here is different from what they have in their own country. Like here now we have different road category in Abuja. We have the arterial road, we have the local street, we have the important local street, we have the special important local street, we have minor access road, and then which one do we have again? Okay, it depends on the category. Sorry, I have gone to the gem. Resume. So we can actually create our own assembly. These are just their own templates, so just give us examples of what we can actually make use of. Well, one thing is there are basic assemblies and there are sub assemblies, so use sub assemblies to actually form your own assemblies. So like what we have here, immediately below where you have the assembly, under the basic, you can see you have basic lane, basic shoulder, basic curve, basic everything, basic. So if you go to lanes also, these are just sub assemblies you can actually add up to form your own assembly depending on your own criteria. So same thing goes with shoulders. We have medians, curves, daylight parameters, and so on and so forth. So going back to create our own assembly now, let me just for the last time check it. So now to create your own assembly, all you just have to do is just follow these basic and simple steps. One, you go to the your create design panel. Still, you can see you have create assembly and you have add assembly offset. Then I select create assembly. A dialog box comes up asking you for the name you want to give the assembly you want to create. Let me just say I want to create a typical Abuja road assembly, which is going to be an arterial road. So I'm going to call arterial road ABJ. For the description, I might not disturb myself with the description. So are we good?
Yeah.
So under the assembly type, you have undivided crown road, you have undivided planar road, divided crown road. But if you are not sure of the type of the road you're actually coming up with, just click on order. Just select that assembly type, which is order. Then your assembly style, you leave it to basic. But once you get your code set style, that particular one, just pick view edit with shading. You select view edit with shading. View edit with shading. Yes. So once you pick on view edit with shading, then you cannot select OK. You select OK from that dialog box, then it closes and it's asking you to specify the point of location of your baseline. Specify the assembly baseline location. So I'm specifying just one area around my screen, not too far. So it's going to zoom out so you can actually see the baseline. So this baseline in a very plain format is just like representing the center line of your road on the plan. So your center line of your road fits along this baseline whenever you're actually doing the corridor modeling. We get to understand the corridor modeling once we get to that stage. So now we need to now add up the sub assemblies that will make a full assembly. If you check the previous one you actually imported or you actually brought in, which are the ready-made assemblies, you can see the baseline also, which is right at the center, and this particular you can see something like that. So now we need to actually do our own. This is just an empty baseline without components, so we need to add the assembly sub-assembly components that will make this full assembly. So the first thing we want to add is, let's add a lane. So you go to your lane tab. Are we good?
Yeah.
So you go to your lane tab, you see there's various lanes depending on what you want. You see the crown lane, you see the lane inside slow, inside super, elevation. There are so many lanes around there with different parameters, but the one we make use of is the lane super elevated super elevation AOR. So you pick on lane super elevation AOR because this particular one supports axis of rotation, so that's why we make use of it most times, so that when we get to bends it turns smoothly. AOR. So once you select the lane super elevation AOR, you now pick the center line, the vertical line, which is representing the
Something popped up.
yes, something popped up by the left hand side, telling you the parameters, like the properties of what you actually want to create. So there you can actually edit, probably change the value of your, what's it called now, the width of your road to either 7 meters, change the slope of your road to maybe 2.5. You want to change the pavement one depth, which is the wearing cost, and you want to change the binder cost, you want to change the base and the sub base. So this allows you to do that before you actually create it.
How do you can click that something?
Oh, okay. You click from here. You can see the one that is. So you click from here. So actually, one thing is, if your one is not actually coming up for editing, you can just leave create, then you modify it later. Sometimes the software acts up like that, doesn't allow you to edit, so you can just create and come back to modify it later on.
Okay.
So I just click on my baseline.
What is this arrow?
Which arrow?
Those two arrows.
It's just showing me the boundary of this particular lane super elevation. It comes with this particular identity, this particular lane. Some other lanes might not come with this, but this particular one comes with this identity. So that's what this represents. So you can see the various layers of this particular lane. So the next one we would like to add is, let's add a shoulder. Look for a shoulder. I want us to pick a shoulder with a ditch, so that we don't need to stress ourselves much. So you can see shoulder with side sub base, interlace and ditch. So I'm picking that shoulder with some base, interlace and ditch, and what I'm going to do is just to pick on this ring. You can look at my screen, see the ring I want to select. I'll pick on this first ring. So I'll pick on this first ring, and then I'm okay. This is the ring here.
Okay.
Let me do it again so you can see. Okay, we've done it.
The screen is small.
It's slow.
The screen is small.
Okay. Then you can just close this, so save yourself the stress. So once I have this, then all you just have to do is to mirror what you have on your left hand side to your right hand side, or you mirror what you have on your right hand side to your left side, as the case may be, depending on the direction you actually start your assembly from. So if you still want to add subsequent parameters, you can do that, but this is just a typical a typical and a nice road assembly. So all I just have to do is to select what I have on my right and mirror them to my left. So how do I do that? I select the two sub-assemblies. Like I'm doing now, I'm selecting the two sub-assemblies. Unlike the basic AutoCAD command, I won't use the basic AutoCAD mirror, but I'm going to use the Civil 3D mirror. You have any issues?
No, I was using the basic mirror.
Okay. So once you select that, you see from your dynamic ribbon, the mirror command is actually on the modify assembly, modify sub-assembly.
Okay.
So you select the mirror command, and you now select the baseline marker.
Yeah.
So you can see what you have there. What you have on your left is now on your right. So basically you can create as many sub-assemblies as you have depending on the section of road given to you. So that's just how to actually create your own assembly that fits what you have without stress. So once you are done with the assembly creation, then the next thing you proceed into is the corridor modeling. You move straight into your corridor modeling. To model your corridor, the four basic things you actually need. I think the three basic things you actually need is 1, your alignment, 2, your vertical profile, 3, your assembly, and the fourth one should be your existing ground surface. 1, your alignment, 2, your design profile, 3, your assembly, and fourth one is the existing ground surface, which is the EG. So now we already have those 4, and then we can actually proceed to our corridor modeling, which forms the 3D interface or the 3D view of the road we actually designing in Civil 3D environment, not even in InfraWorks for now. So I click on my corridor. I click on, because we want to actually do for road 1. So this is road 1 corridor. So this is road 1 corridor. I'm leaving the corridor side to basic. The alignment I want to work on is road 1 alignment. The profile I want to use is the design profile. The assembly I want to use is my arterial road ABJ. That's the one you created. You see the other assemblies that you actually inserted into your drawing, it will be there. So the target surface is your EG surface. The target surface is your EG surface. Then set baseline and region parameters is checked. Then you click on OK.
I can check it.
No, it's checked. Okay. You click on OK. So because you check the baseline parameters and the region parameters, that's why this dialog box is coming up. And all we just come here to do is to set the frequency at which our assembly will be inserted to form that corridor. So we have it at 2020.
Corridor is like the combination of assemblies. It's a group of assemblies.
It's not like a group of assemblies. It's just like an assembly being swept over a length to form the 3D of the road right of way. Whereby an assembly is just a typical section of the road. So it's going to be pulling at intervals to actually form the corridor. So just make it to just go at a closer range, which is at 5 meters, so you can have a very smooth modeling of your corridor. So I'm putting at 5 meters for my frequency. You go to your frequency where you have that 20. You select the ellipse button at the front, then you see where you just have to modify them to 5. Hope you're getting it.
I love it. This is like
close, let me see.
Yeah.
No, the below one, the one here we have 20 here. So you just have to do 20, all you have, just put it 5. All you have 20, put it to 5, then so you just click your apply. It will ask you to rebuild corridor. You click OK.
It asks you to rebuild corridor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you clicked on apply? Then you click on OK once it has finished rebuilding the corridor. So you can now check what you have on your plan view. You can check the corridor. Just check the corridor you provide with, or your plan view rather. You have it being from there. So the reason why you were having it at 5 meters, assuming you had it at a longer interval, at a wider interval rather, at this curve, you might not see a smooth transition curve at this bend. You might just have your model corridor being modeled in a very, very nasty way. So that was why it's always good to have a closer range of your assembly, so that you can have a smooth curves and bends and so on like that. So one thing we can actually do now is to actually see a movement on this particular corridor. So you select the corridor.
That's okay. Yeah.
Select the corridor from your dynamic ribbon. You can see side distance check, and you can see drive. So click on drive.
Side distance.
Yes.
I should click on drive.
Yeah, you click on drive.
Select corridor feature line.
Yes, so you select the corridor line. Now you select it at the center, like towards the center line. You can do that again. Drive. You can zoom so that you can see where the center line is. Zoom out, zoom out. Yeah. Then pick the corridor line about the center line here. Yes. So you pick on the crown pave 1. Pave 1, pave 1.
That's two pave 1.
The first one.
Why pave 1?
Well, that's more like the top level of the road.
Okay.
Yes. That's the wearing course. So that's where the camera will be positioned. Click on OK. So wherever you see the road coming up, and wherever you have it below the ground, just know that's where you'll be cutting and that's where you'll be filling. So if you have something like I have on my screen now, if I click on play, I can actually see how my road looks like, and the side ditches. You can see this is just the side ditch, just by the side. So where I have it under the ground, that means I'm cutting in all these places. Where I have it over the ground, that means I'm filling. Yeah, no, I know I'm cutting. So that's how. So where you'll be filling, you see your road way over the distance. So are we good? I don't have to close it.
How do I keep it closed?
How do you?
You click close here now.
Yes, it close from there. So once you have that, then that's just how you can actually create your typical road corridor in Civil 3D. So eventually the best you can actually offer yourself is now to fine tune, do some tweaks, and then see how you can actually go with your presentation whenever you just finally want to produce your design drawings. So there are so many things you have to clean up, because you can't expect maybe the contractor that will be taking up this drawing to actually have so many lines. So there are so many things you do to clean up this, so you can have a clean output. So that's just basic AutoCAD presentation. So eventually, after you finish modeling your corridor, you actually good to go with your design by actually doing the final one, which is the outputting. That's what we call it plan and profile production. Then after plan and profile production, you can then proceed to actually generating your typical cross sections at various intervals. So those are the guiding document that's been requested by authority or agency whenever you are doing a typical road design. If you are making a submission of your design, they expect you to produce your plan and profile based on the particular scale, as you can give a typical cross sections of your road, showing the cut and fill elevation, and then you support all this with your design report. That's what you will be needed to submit. But we are looking far beyond those typical presentations, because our aim and task is to actually bring out this 2D design data to form a 3D generated model in InfraWorks. So to actually do that, we go through the outputting into the basic 2D lines and 2D presentations. Then from there we pick up and then we move ahead into our 3D InfraWorks properly. That's when we actually generate and finish up with creation of plan and profile production, and then we'll do our typical sections. Then we'll see how we send out all this design data into InfraWorks. So to do that, I'm very sure I'm not too fast, or if I am, you can always call me back to actually explain some things. So moving on to output, plan and profile production, because I'm making sure I'm going step by step, like the way I will make use of the software to achieve a design aim, to actually complete a full functional design. So that's how I'm actually taking this class. So if I should select my outputs, on my output you can see what we have, like plan production. Like when we were introducing this particular interface, we came to the output, we saw plan production, we saw plot, and we saw export. Now we'll be dwelling more on the plan production. On your plan production, you can see we have your create view frames, create sheets, and create section sheets. So how does this work? Your create view frame, sorry. So like we can see now, we have a create view frame. So we have the create view frame and create sheet and create section sheets. So how does this work? Create view frame. This is just more or less like we want to tell the program to actually create a sectional data which will come up on our presentation layout. A view frame segments our road length into subsections for a better outputting or for a better presentation, because your road, your full road length can't be on just a single sheet. Yeah. So they came up with something like, let's actually create a segment for maybe 5 to 100, 0 to 100 meters, 500 then to 1000 meters, like that in that interval, or you run it in any interval based on the scale of the paper. It creates those segments for you to enable you have a particular length and the corresponding profile on individual sheet of paper. So that's what the view frame actually works with, or that's how it is actually being used in this context. So before I actually do that, let me just do a run through, actually create the corridor for the other road, which is the crescent. Yes, let's just do that particular one. Let's create the corridor for that particular one, so I don't just leave that. Click on create corridor, road 2 corridor, click on the alignment, road 2 design, road 2 profile, assembly, EG. I'll change the alignment to road 2. Yes, change it to road 2. Any alignment you want to work on, you just change it to that particular alignment. Assembly. Yes, pick the assembly you created. Area road division. Yes, material. I select OK. Do your frequency, don't forget. Then you click apply rebuild corridor. Then you click on OK.
Repeat corridor.
Yes. Okay, so now let's continue with that outputs. So like I said, the first thing we always do is create view frames. Create view frames. Yeah, it's something just came to my mind. I was saying we're going to go through, okay, I think we did, like how to customize this profile to our own standard, like how we used to have it in Nigeria here. Okay, maybe we do that once I finish with this. Just remember now. I think that was when we stopped last class. So create view frame. Once I click on the create view frame command, it will ask me for the alignment I actually want to work on. For now I'm working on the road 1 alignment, so I'm selecting road 1 alignment. It's going to give me the what's called the station length of the road 1 alignment by automatic, so it's starting from 0 and it's ending at 1.345 kilometers. So going to the next.
Create view frame.
Yes,
It's under
outputs. You go to output. Are we good?
Yeah.
So go to output, you select the alignment. The station range is automatic, so 0 to the last. Then you go to next. So at this point, this is when you do more of actually customizing or creating your own company or maybe personal sheet of paper which you'll be making use of for your design. But for now, you can make use of the existing one and see how it looks like. We can come around and see how you can actually tweak and introduce or incorporate your own company or personal paper sheets for your design. So there are 3 options for you to present your design. Do you want to present it in plan and profile only? Do you want it to be plan only, or do you want it to be profile only? Depending on what you want. But the basic and the most presentable way we actually do that in Nigeria is we have our plan and profile being stacked together. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. You have your plan, then your corresponding profile of what you have on the plan is always stacked like we have on this preview tab here.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have the plan at the top, you have the profile below.
Okay.
So you can see template for plan and profile sheet. You see the directory where this is actually being saved. So the directory is already being displayed for you here. And then going to your view frame placement, you have to select along the alignment or you want it rotated to not. Well, along the alignment is the best option for us because the view frame is being placed in relation to the orientation of the alignment. If it's going straight, if it's taking a bend towards any direction, it goes and moves like that with the line or the alignment flexibility. So setting the first view frame, you give an offset of maybe 20 meters so that it captures almost all the informations in your design so that nothing is actually being left out. So we always give an offset of that amount, 20 meters. Then I need not to do any more stress about anything now. I just I click on next. I'm not touching anything here. I go straight to next. then to the final one, which is my what's it called now, profile view style and blah 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 like that. So I click next. I click on create view frames rather. I click on create view frames.
Profile view.
Yes, you click on create view frames.
Okay.
So immediately you click on create view frames, you can go then back to your plan and see the update of what you have.
This blue line, sorry.
Yes, the blue lines are your view frames. So you can see the point where the blue lines terminate. That's just the view in which you'll be seeing on individual sheets of paper. So like the first view frame is giving us from tonnage 00 to about 700 something meters. So that's what will be displayed on the first paper. Then the second paper we actually capture the remaining length of the road. So you're having two papers to represent this your design. It's two. Yours is three?
Yeah.
Okay, yours is three because we using another paper set. I'm actually using another paper set. So that's why you actually having that. So you have three, I have two papers here, depending on what I have. So having done this, then we can then create the sheets. The first thing we did was to create the view frames. Then this is the view frame we have here now. Then we now need to create the sheets that will represent what we have exactly on this particular view frame. So we click on create sheets. So you can see the option create sheet for plotting from an existing view frame. So it's going to make use of the view frame to plot what you actually have. Then click on create sheet. Click on create sheet. You click on create sheet. So the create sheet dialog box comes up for you. The first menu you have there is the view frame group and layout. By default we have just one, which is the road 1, so it's coming up as view frame group of road 1, so we need not to stress ourselves about that. So going straight down to the
click create sheet.
Yes, you click on create sheet before this came up now.
Oh,
oh, you clicked on create sheet here.
Okay,
And that came up. Yeah. So you have your view frame group and layout. They gave you the option to choose the one you want to work on. By default, because we don't have any other view frame group, so road 1 is the only view frame group we have, so it's already selected for us. But we have as many as possible, so you click on the drop down, you look for the one you want to work on and you select it, as the case may be. So under the next one, which is the view frame range, you are selecting all the view frames. You want to plot all the view frames. And then to the layout creation, number of layouts per drawing, you want all layouts in the current drawing. Just select all layouts in the current drawing. You are not taking it outside anyway. You want all layouts in the current drawing, and then you want to give it a name. This is just, let's say, arterial road, or let's call it road 1. Yeah, let's call it road 1. Let's call it road 1. So choose the knot arrow block to align with your layout. Just put your knot, just select your knot. Nothing, no big deal about that. Then you click next. So it's going to be asking you maybe the new sheet set name, the location you want to create the sheet set, and blah blah. So just click next. There's nothing much about this. So at this point, all I will just have to do is to make sure you align profile and plan view at center. Just what you're coming here to do. Align profile view, plan and profile view at center. Just pick that. So are we good? And then click on create sheet. So the program is asking me to complete your process. Your current drawing will be saved. I said okay. So it's asking me select profile view origin. So I come towards the left at the right hand side, a little bit away from my plan and my existing profile. and I do this. So it's going to produce a replica of my initial road alignment. You can see. So you can see the road 1 profile is being produced now. This yours should be in 3 segments.
Close this one.
You can close it. So yours should be in 3 segments. I have my own in 2 segments. Let me see your screen. Looks like, is it not bright? Can't see the, okay. Why is it, why are the borders not coming up? Let me see the old one you worked on. The borders are there now. Let's go back. Okay. So yours is in 3, mine is in 2. So that means you'll be having 3 sheet paper and 3 sheets of paper for your own, while I'll be having 2. So you can see the preview of the road of your sheet. So you can just go click on them and see how it looks like on your plan, and then with the corresponding profile. No, road 1. You click on road 1. Those layouts are just. So you see what you can actually have from your design. So this is how it's difficult. Like now, the one I was using is my company's template. So that's what I'm using for my own design. That's why we already have it configured, and then we have it programmed to fit our own standard. Okay, so we have this. We've already produced our plan and profile. Then we need to do some other cleanups on this particular profile.
Is it model?
Yeah, back to model. Because that's the global space that contains every of the designs. So you need to make sure this new is the same profile content. What you have there is the same with what you have there. But it's just like the software has able to actually divide them into a fitting paper sizes for your outputting. So all you have to do is to make sure the informations here, such as these labels, are on this particular one. So how do you go about that? I select this. I need to edit my profile view. It's in my profile view properties. I go to my profile view properties. I go to my elevation and stage elevation tab. I uncheck my splits. I apply OK. Same thing goes with this. Uncheck my splits.
Uncheck the
split profile view. Uncheck split profile view. Apply and OK. So you do for your 3 profile views. Are you sure you unchecked?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think your system will be able to carry this in fireworks. Because it's so look for the other tools. Just look for the other tools you see.
Okay. Amazing.
So to eventually bring up your, what's it called now, to bring up the labels like you had on your real profile, like your real profile, all you just have to do is now to make sure you're selecting those informations and calling them out. Your design profile, now right click on your design profile, right click, go to your edit labels and then import label set, complete label set, just do that, apply and OK. So those information comes up for you. Same thing for the second one. Import label, edit label, import this, complete this.
Sure.
Have you import the label, then apply and OK. That's all you just do. You are not doing any editing.
Sure,
apply and OK. I said you do it on this thing and the one you just designed. Import label set. Then you click on the drop down, look for complete label. OK. And apply and OK. Subsequently for others too. Are we good?
Yeah.
So have we done that? The last one you do is just repeat the command for bringing up the intersection that we did. Remember? And if you look at what you have there, your intersection falls between 850 to the last chain edge. So you know it can't be on the first one. Maybe it should be on the second or the third one on your own. So my own is on the second one, so I pick on the second profile. And then I do the projection thing, like project to profile view. Hope you get what I'm trying to explain. From your initial design profile, your intersection comes between the chain edge 900 and chain edge 1.17. Am I right? Your intersection comes between chain edge 100 and chain edge 900 and chain edge 1.17.
I get the 1.97. This one is about 900. The other one is about 1.
When I say 1.17, this is 1.17. Whenever you see 1 plus 175, that's 1.1 something kilometers. Once you get used to road design, all this won't be difficult for you because you just need to read some manuals on road design and you understand all these terms. Whenever you see 1 plus 225 is 1.225, 1 point is in kilometers. So if I have it like I have it now is 1 kilometer 225 meters. That's the meaning of 1 plus 225. When you see 1 plus anything, I know it's 1 kilometer 2 something. The plus, anything after the plus is in meters. So those are the terms you just need to get used to in road design. So when I'm saying 1.175, that's 1 plus 175. I call it 1.17. So you make sure you now look for the corresponding profile that the values varies in between those two. And for me now, my second profile is where all these will fall to. So you look for the one that falls in between your design. If it's only one that falls between one, then you pick the second one to do for the second one. So like now I'll pick for the first one, project to profile view. I'll locate for my plan those two blocks. as we did earlier, and select the 2 blocks. You're not getting it.
Now is the second one.
It's on different. It's on different. This is, then you do one for one. Then you go to second one, do the other one. Sure, you get it. You just do one projection for the first one. Then you pick up the second profile. Then you do the other projection. So let me see your screen. Let me see. So one falls on this, right?
Yes.
Then
This point.
at this point, there was a 175. It's on the other one. So you pick on this now. What is your project? No, you project. You already turned off your this thing. Do like this. Click on there. Click on there. No, not the arrow. The one at the front. Click on it again. The system is slow. So click on it again. So go there now. So select escape. Escape. So select it now. Yes. Project to profile view. Project object to profile view. So you go to your plan to select the block, the first block this time. Go to your plan to select the first block. Select the first block. Then as you select it, you can even select the handle if you are finding it difficult to select it from inside. Enter space bar. So you do your
option.
Click on design. Then say the last one you set it to project above. Project above. Okay. So you can go check your this now. You do for the next one the same process. Got it?
Yeah.
So that is that about the profile generation. So you do for the second one too. You produce the plan and profile. Because if I should check my sheet now, you can see what I did is already updated on my screen. It's updated on my layout rather. So you might be having glitch with having this black, although it always comes up like that. But I already have a template whereby this black doesn't come up on your plan. It's just like the point whereby this the end of your road on the paper, like the segment. So it's showing out like this place is blacked out, that place is blacked out. So how do you make sure this black doesn't come up on your design printing? So I just activate. I'll select that black arch. I'll select the black arch. I'll turn it off. I always turn it off from my layers. You go to my layer. You go to your tab. You select the black arch. It's not selected yet. This is how you do it. You activate inside. Double click inside. Double click inside.
I will click it.
No. Your system is slow. It's activated now. Select it. Go to my own. Then I turn off the layer because the layer will come up for me. So I freeze it. And I double click outside. Freeze. So I double click outside so that I don't have that black spots on my design. Print. I don't know if you get it now.
That's to remove the black spot as will appear on the printed copy.
Yeah.
Okay,
so the mark line will be telling you the point whereby it's cutting the end of the first one, whereby you now start to read into the next paper. So you can see this is what the mark line. So it said next sheet number 2. So you start reading from chain this stage 0725 blah 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 like that. So that's how the presentation works. So you can do for the next one, go back to your model space, produce for the what's it called now, do the plan of proper production for the next road. So you go to your outputs, create view frame, you select road 2.
That's the other one now. This one?
Yes. You might have like 100 roads, so you do for all the roads. You do for all the roads. Well, don't worry, once you get used to the highway design or this thing, maybe whenever you get back, you study more on highway design, you get to see how interesting the program is. Because I was actually told we are actually moving fast. Well, it's not like we're moving fast. If you had much of this questions about road design, you must understand like, okay, why are we having this, why are we having that? So that might actually slow us down. So pick on road 2. Next, still plan and profile we're producing. No, the initial settings. Okay.
Where did you go from here?
No, you're not selecting it here. You go to your output. You want to produce. You're not selecting it from here. Just go to your output. You create view frame. Anyway, I'll just take a break now. Allow you to actually go back over what we've done, so you don't just overload yourself with so much. But this is the technical aspect now. These are more technical than the initial stage. Because at this point, you want to send out your design to agencies, to people that will be vetting your design. So, and you have to be. Initially, you've already set the parameters. So the parameters is set at first. We actually still be there for you to make use of. So I'm not going to be checking anything or doing any. I'll just go to my next. Go to my next. I'm not doing anything. Next, then click on create view frames. So once I click on create view frames, I can check and see how it's been created on my, what's it called now, on my plan. I'm having 2 view frames now.
1, 2, 3, 4. The former one will still be there.
Yeah. So that's the funny thing about this thing. You just have to be careful. Like now you have so many roads. When you start working, there will be so many view frames overloaded on one particular. We have view frame for this. You see how these small roads. You have your own view frames. All this. So there's a way you just have to be very, very careful. You have to be smart to actually work with these particular tools. You are just having 1 or 2 roads now. I was working on a project where I have over 1,000 view frames. If I open this, it will look like, how do you figure out which is which? That's why this comes handy for you, your Prospector. When I come to my Prospector, I come to my view frame group. If I need to work, if I have 100 view frames here, I'll just come here and tell this software to select that view frame for me. So it's going to select the view frame for me. Like now, which one is it selecting? Okay. Zoom to.
You are clicked about.
Where are you? You go to your Prospector.
That's
Let me see. What's wrong with your software? No, not data shortcut. This is it here. Different groups. Expand. So either be 2, you right click, select or zoom to. So it takes you to where that particular one is.
I have to be good.
So like now I told this software like select this, so I already know, okay, this view from one first sheet is selected. If I tell it to select the second one, which is this, it is selected, so I know. So if I have as much as possible, I can actually identify where they are and maneuver my way around them. So that's how it works. So after creating a view frame, the next thing you do is to actually create the sheets. Don't forget, now you're on production, just go to your production. You don't need to select profile or anything. You finished your design, you've done your profile design, you've done everything, and you're okay with your design. All you're just going to do is just go to your output, click on create view frame. Once you've created the view frame, then click on create sheet. You then click on create sheet, not view frame. Click on create sheet. So once you click on create sheet, initially we now have 2 view frames here. The first one we had was for road 1, now we are working on road 2. So I select road 2. The layout name changes to road 2 because road 1 will be there. Every other settings remains the same. So I click next.
Layout name will change to road 2.
Yes. I click next. Every other name remains the same. Every other thing remains the same rather. And I click next. Then I click on create sheet. It tell me to complete this process, your current drawing will be saved. Same thing is like you said earlier. So you do the same thing, specify base point, just go below the first one you did and you drop it there. So it creates the corresponding, allow you to finish.
I'm going to if I was this weekend.
We should enter, if not tomorrow or today. But I don't want to overload you. Tomorrow morning we should be there. You might want us to go random.
I have to increase this because if it says you crash, everything is good.
No, the funny thing is if you are working on InfraWorks, if you crash this, is the last thing you put that will be saved. So you can also still go back to that place and continue again. Well, you said 4 gig RAM.
And then it's partitioned. That's just I have to increase it.
If you have to get a system now, how soon are you going to get that?
The new system?
Like if you have to get a system to upgrade to your...
No, I can do it before this thing. Next weekend.
Next weekend?
Oh, this system is big. Trying to trade this laptop that one is big. Right.
So you can see what we have. Then you do the same thing you did earlier. Profile view properties, uncheck split view, apply, okay. Uncheck split view, profile view properties, uncheck split view, apply, and okay. You don't select the profile, you select the profile view. Don't forget, cancel. You select the profile view, not the profile. The only time you select the profile is when you want to display the label. That's when you select edit labels. Yes, just select the heading. The only time you select the design profile is when you want to bring up the labels. So you click on that, edit labels, import, do this, complete label set, apply, and okay.
This is when you import the label.
No.
So what do you do?
You only come to elevation, you split, you uncheck split view, apply and OK. That's what you come here to do.
So you carry this system to site.
This is what they use in construction now. This is the design raw data, just like the structural drawing for buildings. This is what it takes to site. This is what you read on site.
Okay. So now we now have new this sheets now. Road 1, road 2.
Yeah, you have from row 2 1, row 2 to row 2, depending on the number of row 2 you have. So if you have any conflict with that, and don't even forget, because initially when we were doing this design last class, we have something like you having the same values for your finished drawing and your So you just have to correct that. Don't forget when we did that. All you just have to do is go to your profile view properties on your band. Just change your profile tool to your designed. Change your profile tool to design profile. Do that for everything. Change your profile tool to design profile. So we'll be taking a break now. We'll be coming back, and the last one we'll be talking on it will be the typical cross sections.
I just change it to finished ground.
Yes.
Or design profile.
Design profile.
Both of them.
Yes. The profile tool should be a design profile. For everything. And don't forget not to bring out the labels for your new created one. I haven't done the this thing. It's not coming up. You uncheck split view, and it's still not coming up. So you have to do this refresh and coming. So whenever you uncheck split view and your system refuses to process this, you select your profile view again. Go to your profile, right click, edit profile view style, not properties, edit profile view styles. You go to your grid, you uncheck this, click apply. So you check it back, and click apply. Whenever your system refuses to process it like that, just do that. It updates, and so just go through, see what we've done today, because this is very technical. See if you can actually do it over and over, then we'll come back. So having done this, we've generated your profile, then you move into plan and profile production, which resulted in the production of a new profile, which is just a replica of what you had earlier in another particular interface. Now we have it in two segments, one on each paper. Same thing goes with the second road, which is like we have three here, one on each paper with their corresponding plans has been displayed here. So after achieving this aim of producing your plan and profile, this is what the contractor might actually end up taking to site to implement the design. Then you have to produce a typical cross sections at intervals of 25 meters, at intervals of 5 meters, or at intervals of 10 meters, depending on the agency or the authority that is receiving your design. So they have their own requirements, they have their own standards. Sorry. They have their own requirements, they have their own standards. So based on their requirements, you produce cross sections at intervals for them to actually take a look at what you have actually done with your design state. So we move to our model. So we move to our model. That reminds me, to produce your cross section, you have to do some basic things. One, you have to create your datum surface. Two, you have to create your sample lines. Then three, generate your typical cross sections. One, you create your datum surface. Two, you create your sample lines. Three, you are good to go to generate.
What is datum surface?
The datum surface is just like the base level on which your road formation starts. That's just like a formation level.
This yeah, for it's a line.
That's a formation level.
Is this super elevation?
No, super elevation is different.
There's a line name. Workspace.
It's formation level.
I know from that. There's a line name for formation level.
I don't know that name to call it again. So the first thing we now move to is to create. We do for one. I will allow you to do for we do for one together. Then I will leave you to do for the second one. So if you have any challenge along the way, call me to see how we can actually do that. So the first one we actually picking on is this one here. This first road, that's road 1. So we pick on the corridor. You right click, corridor properties. On the corridor properties dialog box, you have various tabs. You have the information tab, the parameters tab, the code tab, feature lines tab, and everything like that. You have so many tabs. So but what we are concerned with here is just the surface tab. I'm going to my surfaces tab. I need to create a datum surface which I want to use in the computation of my artworks as well as in the generation of my cross section. So once I'm there, this is create surface. I click on create corridor surface. You can see the tab. This is the command here. Look at my screen. This is the command here. Create corridor surface. Once I click on that, it gives me one road 1 blah 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 like that. So I change it to road 1 datum surface.
So you have road 1.
Yeah, you have it as road 1. You just edit it to road 1 datum surface. So once I have it as road 1 datum surface, subsequently we haven't added any data. You can see the add data sub panel. You add data type as links, then the specified code. Then from my specified code, I will just select datum, and I click on the plus sign to add it to it. So once I click on the plus sign, you can see the datum is already added to my what's it called now, to my datum road 1 datum surface I created. So I go to my boundaries, go to my boundary tab. That same datum surface I created on your boundary tab is there. Then I tell it to use corridor extend as outer boundary. Corridor extend as outer boundary. Then I click on my apply. So it's asking to rebuild the corridor. I say yes. Apply. Click on apply. That point you click on apply, you rebuild corridor, and you click on OK. So at this point you see something like a V-shaped line on your corridor surface region. So that's the datum surface being created with the particular code we specified. So the next thing you do is still by selecting the okay.
So this is pointing this way, this is pointing this way.
Yes.
What?
It's just the surface creation that comes in that direction. You know, from this level, the level around here is different from the level around here. I don't know if you get.
Yeah.
So that is why you're having, this is 385, While here is almost the same 3852. But if I should add my intervals to be as close as possible, you see the difference is much around there. This is more like it's going down, while this is more like it's going up. So all these places that you are saying V down, V up, is either you are ascending or descending. So depending on the side you fall on. So that's why you can be seeing some V's facing up while some facing down. So if I'm going down this way and if I'm going up that way,
so moving like a valley, yeah.
Something like that. It might not be as obvious, it might be just a small steep curve. So those are the things you. So having that's not even it's not even an headache for us, because that's not where we're actually heading. So we've done that. Then we can as well select my corridor to bring up the dynamic panel, dynamic movement, or I trace go to my modify. Rather, is it modify? I can still be on my own. I can still be on my own and click on sample lines. Sample lines. Yeah, that's it there. So once you ask create sample line, it's asking you to select alignment. You press your enter key. It will give you the list of alignment you have in your design. You want to work on road 1, so I'm selecting road 1. So the create sample line dialog box comes up. It will ask you which of the roads you want to work on. You can see on my select data source type, I'm selecting the existing ground, I'm selecting road 1, and I'm selecting road 1 datum sub. So I won't be checking road 2 and the pressure network. So why you not have road 2 there? Or you gave your corridor the same name. Give this also road 1 instead of to give it road 2. As no walasha. So you just check EG, you check your road 1 corridor, then you check your road 1 datum sub.
Yeah.
We're on the same page, but because of the name, the way you name your own listen, that's why you have, let's see, this is your road 1 corridor, your road 1 corridor, this is your datum sub surface. This is supposed to be your road 2. You give it out, you give it out, so road 1 again. That's no problem. So having done that, you select, you don't have to bother yourself about the sample line name, the sample line style. You just don't bother yourself about that because we just don't need to deal with that. So I click on my OK.
Okay, let's need to change.
I've already checked what I want to sample, so I just click on OK. So you see your what's it called now, your mouse coming around like you want to select a point. Well, we are not going to select a point, we just want to do it by range of stations. So I come to my what's it called now, create sample line command panel. This is what we have here. Then I tell it to go by range of stations. Go by range of stations. So from there I input 25, 20, my swat width should be, I might leave my swat width to be 20.
Your left swat width.
Let me leave it to be 12. I think we did for, I have what did I have for my distance the other time? Just 10. So one thing about this swat width is just like your right of way. Your swat to the left, your swat to the right is just like half. This is my center line. The end of my the right of way to my left is either, if it's 12 meters, I always add a meter to my swat width. My swat width is my half ROW plus 1 meter. I don't know if you're getting it. If this is my full road right of way, my center line is always at the middle. Let's say my right of way is 20 meters. That means my center line will be at the mark of 10. That's 10 to right, 10 to left. So my swat width will just be like that 10 plus additional 1 meter, like an offset to give for contingency and also for clearance and everything. So you give it, that will be 11. So you specify that swat for your design. So once it wants to take sample, it will take sample with that particular contingency, and then it will run it along your design. don't always put the exact right of way. You always give an allowance. So for your own now, you always know up to, when you're doing this 3.5, your carriage was 3.5 plus your veg. You can just give it to be 7 by 7. You can put it on to be 7. Then you just click on 7. Then on your sampling increment, you put it to be 25. The sampling increment 25. This. The sampling increment 25. So at range start, you put it to true, and at range end, you put it to true. At range start, true. At range end, true. So you click your OK, and then you have to press enter this time. Just don't click, make sure you press enter. So you can see your sample lines being displayed. You can see the sample line.
Yeah.
Let me zoom out. Let me see. Okay. So from here now we can proceed with our generation of our typical cross section, or we move into our artworks computation. Either way, your typical cross section or your artwork computation.
Can we remove this? Can we get to hide?
Let me just give you an info now. Whenever you are doing a design, once you want to get into your artworks computation, it's always advisable you have 2 copies of the same design. You finish your design, you want to produce one for plan and profile production, and you need one for your other computations. So once you finish, you save, then you save another one, you save another copy as what's it called now, cross sections and artworks computation. Okay. So because before you know it, this whole place will be packed with so many information which you don't need on your plan and profile.
Okay.
So you just save that. Then once you save that, the same drawing, you save it again as this, then you start working on that, so it doesn't affect the old one you already saved.
Yeah.
So that's how we go. So whenever you have, so that because now you're having so many informations on just this, which is not presentable, so that's just a nice observation. So having done this, then we go straight into creation of our cross sections. To create your cross section, you go to your section view. There are so many other ways you can use to create this cross section, but the easiest way is for you to just go through your own, go through your profile and section view. So you go to create multiple section views, or if you actually want to create for one to see how it looks like, this is your section view here. The last one, yes. So you want to create multiple, that's like you want to create for everything, and you want to create for 1 or 2 sometimes to see how individual looks like. You create for 1 or 2. So let's just create for 1 and see how it looks like. Just 1. Hope you're not selecting multiple.
No, this section.
You selected multiple. Exit. Go. Section view, not multiple. Yeah. So now we've selected with 1. The sample line group is sample line 1. So I need to select, let me say I'm selecting Chile 200. Then I click my next. You can see by automatic it has used my swat width.
What does it change?
I didn't change anything. I click next. My swat width has been used to actually specify my offset range, and I click next. I see my minimum and the maximum elevation, and I click next. So on the section display option, I'll just change all these ones to no display and none, and no labels rather. I'll change all this to no labels.
So they are all labels.
Yours is already on no labels, so I just did my own. So for this one, you change yours to, for your corridor, view edit with shading, and for this should be your finished ground.
That's one step.
Existing ground. Then no, you go to the second one, view edit with shading, then to the last one, finished ground. Then click on your next. There's nothing much to do with the data band. On data band, just select your major stations, offset, LDT. Major stations, offset, and elevations. Major stations, offset, and elevations. So on your, what's it called now? On your first one, you see what we have here. Although we make reference to this video, if you get lost along the way, your EG elevations should be your EG. Make sure this is your EG, while your FG is the same as what you have there. So you leave the other ones as it is. You're not touching anything there. Just click on create section view. So you just go somewhere up and you drop it. So you can see what you have. You can zoom in and see. Slow. So that's how your elevation comes out. I said elevation
Section.
your typical section. Here your road is because you have a very small road offset. That's why you have that. Right now I'm having this. That's my road offset. So this particular line is your EG surface. This line, you can see this line. This line.
Yeah.
You see, it's not as straight as normal graph line. So that's your EG surface. That's your existing ground surface. Whereby this is your designed road surface. So for you now to create multiple, you can just run the same command, create multiple. This time you just don't need to do any more. This it has already sampled everything for you. Click on next. So it asks you for paper template you want to use, then you click on next. Offset range, default elevation varies. I'm not doing anything. So on this particular one, so all you just have to do is the same way we did for the first one. View edit with shading, finish ground. You're not touching the first one, always remember. Then click on your next. Your stations, offset, then change this to your EG. First select your band. First select your band. Go back. Select your band from here. Major stations offset. Then you select that. No, it's not. So you click on create section views. So you just drop somewhere and then allow it to generate. So you can see what I have.
Can I need to enter one sheet of paper.
It depends on the scale you are using and the paper size. But it's not advisable. There are standards. If I tell you must have more than 12 on this thing on one sheet or 15, depending on even your road distance. But I'm having a bigger road, like a road that has a right of way of something like it's just like 20 now. See roads of 25, 30, 50 meters right of way. You can't expect it. You can't have everything in one sheet. You can't have everything in one sheet. So this is just how it will come out. Then after you generated your this now, the same way you did for outputting your plan and profile, just click on create section sheets. You just look for that particular one and create a section sheet too. So look for that one and create the section sheet. Oh, I hope I'm not opening this in a new drawing.
Not V-frame.
Yes, it doesn't need V-frame. This is his own V-frame. It's already having his own V-frame. All these ones are his own V-frame. You're clicking on create V-frame? No,
it's sheeting.
You click on this create section sheet. But in here, I'm not changing anything. So you can see it's already created alongside you. So I just do this in the paper. Is it done? Then should be able to see from the list here. How do you access the other layout? I think when you have your mouse, I don't know this latest release. Is already access. Okay. It's just coming. The system is slow. Yeah. Okay. So there it comes out. So you run the section generation like that. So I want you to actually repeat this operation. See how you can actually do that on your own for the second load. You started by actually creating one datum surface. Select the corridor, you create the datum surface. Looking after, because now we've been on Civil 3D for some hours and the class now. Well, at this point we're about getting close to the end of the Civil 3D class, and we see how we integrate from here into InfraWorks and from InfraWorks back into Civil 3D and vice versa, because we'll be moving in that direction until the end of the class. We go out, we come back in, we go out, we come back in. So that's why it is always essential for you to understand the Civil 3D very well, so you know how to actually manipulate your ways around, you know how to actually do some tricks to fit what you are actually working on in your InfraWorks environment. So having that at the back of our mind, let's just proceed now to artworks extraction. That's volume or artwork extraction. Still on my okay, I can't have it from my sample lines. So what do I have to do now? All I just have to do is to select my sample line. If I'm working on road 1, I'll look for a particular sample line on road 1, and I'm going to select that sample line. I'm looking for a sample line to select on road 1.
The sample line is what color?
Is it?
The sample line is what color?
It's like blue color. You can't find it. No, just it's always across. It's always across your road.
Okay.
You don't have to zoom in that much. Just select. If it's not the one, it will give options of the one to select.
Okay.
So if you're having difficulty selecting the sample line through that means, just go to your what's it called now? Go to your sections from your menu tab, menu bar, sections. Go to sections. Click on section. You go to what's it called now? Let me see from here. Menu bar. I go to sections. Then you click on compute materials. Are we good? You select road 1. Then you select the sample line for road 1.
Compute materials.
Compute materials.
Okay.
Yes. So you select sample line group alignment. You select the road 1 alignment. Then select the sample line. You click on OK. So from the quantity takeoff criteria, we are using artworks. Click on the drop down. You select artworks.
Artworks.
Yes. So from there, we'll be having 2 comparison tabs. So the existing ground, you pick EG, and your datum, you pick your datum that you created. So you just have to click on OK now, and you allow your software to do the calculation. So eventually it has done the calculation. You can as well just do for the second one too, which is row 2, like you've done for your own. Repeat that same operation for row 2. Go to your section, compute materials. You select the row 2 alignment. Go to your sections, compute material, select your row 2 alignment, click on OK, change that to the artworks, then you select EG, and then you select Day 2 and you click on OK. So these are just straightforward. These are just 1 or 2 clicks command and you are good to go. So the software does the calculation for you. Well, whenever you now want to generate this, the corresponding or to output the report, all you just have to do is either you go to your toolbox, or still from the section you can generate your volume report. You can say generate volume report. Generate volume report. So once I click on generate volume report, you tell me which of the sample line. I said road 1 sample line. The material list is already listed there. So just click on artworks, open. Then just click on OK. It's going to use your browser or what's it called now? Maybe your Mozilla or your Internet Explorer to display the report.
You got done it.
No, it doesn't. It's just going to use your browser to display it. Oh, ladies are wild. Just leave me. Let me just. So do you want to allow this? So this might look strange to you, but you get to understand it later on. Once you eventually do a design and you show this to somebody, who like understand, like, okay, you actually know what you are doing. So you can do that to repeat the same operation for row 2 and see what you have. But to produce this in Excel format, which is basically being used or universally accepted by everyone for further computation, you go to your toolbox, put your toolbox, expand your report manager, expand your report manager, go to your toolbox, expand your report manager. This is your toolbox here. Expand your corridor and you execute volume. I click to execute volume report. So you can see it for road 1, the whole thing is listed. Save report to, that's the only thing you don't want to change. Just change save report to from HTML to Excel workbook. Change it to Excel workbook and save it to the directory where you want it.
Save reports to change it to Excel workbook.
Click on this drop down, change it to Excel. File type. So you save it to the directory you want it and you click on, so then you click on create report. So it will load. Then it's going to automatically launch your Excel to display the report. So once you're done with that, just click on done. So that's just how we roll. That's just as simple and straightforward. So
this list of help will show you.
Eventually you need it. It is the ultimate of your design.
No, that's not like kind of design, but 500 that's what you do highway.
Yes. Yes. Okay, that you do call highway. Yeah. Eventually, if you are doing highway, most of your lecturers, the only thing you are actually enjoying is because I practice. If I'm back to same school I finished from and I keep saying all this, they only know the theoretical. They only know it in theory, but the practice is not there. So you will be at an edge over them to actually incorporate what, because like now I noticed since day one of my class I said some things which I was expecting deliberately. I did that. I was expecting maybe okay, I want to see if we actually have like a back knowledge of what is actually about the highway or road design. We're just flowing. Or eventually once you get back to school, you see how you can actually merge the two platforms, and that will be like a plus for you to actually work and then kickstart your career either in infrastructure or in highway or structures. Though I always want to be in the infrastructure line. I don't want, because if I'm in infrastructure, I'm everywhere. Infrastructure deals with you working as a highway design engineer, because in infrastructure you have road infrastructure, and when you're talking about road infrastructures too, you're talking about bridges, you're talking about culverts. Same time we're talking about storm and sewer lines, water infrastructures. So if you are seasoned in all this, you might not be out of business for long, and eventually someone will actually want someone to do work. So that's just how it goes. No, that's how it goes, because you do structural design, you do infrastructure design, corporate editing, you move in that line like that, just all around. You season.
So can we design a stadium?
Design a stadium in what concept? Structurally?
Artistically.
No. One thing about no, like I always say, if you're looking at a full stadium design, it's beyond a one-man idea. An architect comes up with a typical or a conceptual design of a stadium. Sure again. An architect comes up with a conceptual design of the stadium. A structural engineer comes in, looking at what the architect is coming up with. Is it buildable? Is it feasible? Is it structurally stable? And stuff like that. Then we're looking at the structural element too. That's what the structural engineer comes in to do. Then another person will come in, an infrastructure engineer might come in to talk about the landscaping of the whole area, the arrangement of the car park, the parking lot. Is he going to be able to accommodate the capacity of the stadium? People who are going to be using the stadium, the easement of the movement of cars. So you can see that's how everybody comes in. Every specialization is involved in the stadium, not just an architect comes in, gives you something, blah blah blah, sketch like that. They deploy an infrastructure guy. Come, how do we manage traffic, cars around this area, and also the neighboring roads and stuff like that. So those are just how everything goes. So moreover, you just have to like know where you are going, know where you're headed. Still on the stadium too, you still talk about the water management. You see how you channel the raw water, the runoffs. Oh, you think the canopy on your stadium doesn't collect water? Where do you discharge them to? What roof? Then when the water runs on the roof, where do you discharge them to? Do you want them to run and form gullies on the whole environment, and then so they call those ones, they call them, you have surface runoffs management. You manage your surface runoff. The one that falls directly on the ground, those are surface runoff, you manage them. The ones that is being collected on your roof, how do you manage them? Where do you channel them to? So it's beyond if you keep okay, the mechanical guy, I've not talked about them. The electrical guy, you've not talked about them. You're thinking about, okay, the sound guys, you are yet to talk about, because a whole stadium, you've been to this Abuja stadium. Because no matter where you sit there, you keep hearing everything, the announcement that is being made, everything, no matter the population or crowd. So you should imagine those things. I don't know, okay, my tab is, I'm checking my tab, I'm showing the pictures of the stadium, and you see, it's just beyond a single man idea. Someone comes with the conception. That's why every design comes with the conceptual plan. That conceptual plan, before it becomes final, man, it was a pass-through fire, man. So we have design challenges before even this particular layer that you're looking at. Before it came to this final one, the approved one, it has gone through a lot of fire, like. So that's how we roll with all this interface. Let me see if this thing comes up without interface. And I will have to recharge the mind. Recharge my phone.
Infrastructure will use your system.
Is that?
This system will not.
No, one thing is just you already have the line you want to do. Like say you want to use that on your project. Like that interchange is what you want to prefer as your project. Yeah, right. So if you have that in mind, you just have to look at what you can actually offer yourself. You look at, because I was looking, okay, a colleague of mine at work yesterday, I think I saved those pictures. He was sending me some things. It was just like, because the guy is as crazy as I am. He was sending me some interchange pictures yesterday. We're in the office. My own office is different from where he is. So he saw it on Instagram. I saved them now. Where did I save this thing? Was he on? Okay. I did save this thing now. Downloads. Let me check my browser. He sent me those pictures and I saved them. Downloads. Was it my tab? No. So anything didn't save. There were some funny interchanges like that. You saw it, just send them to me. I thought I saved them, I did. So those are the things you just look out for, like, okay, this is the line you want to follow, this is what you're actually passionate about, and then you're just good to go. So eventually that's just a summary. That's just like we're handing up, and then on Civil 3D proper, then we'll be moving into InfraWorks. So whenever you're done with your design, basically if you're not going to be doing So one thing is, before you get to this final stage, like you producing your design, you might neglect this if you are not actually having in mind to produce the design. Instead of going through the stress of finishing up with the whole design, doing the corridor, doing the sections and so on, just want to do the model, like finish the road alignment design, then move into your infraworks directly. Is always well and good. You can actually achieve that without going through all this stress of producing this, then producing this. So once you just generate the alignment, you create the profile like you have here, you are good to go. You can from there proceed into infraworks, commence subsequent design you want to work on. Then you can be going front and back to achieve your design aim. So that's just how this works. So for me now to continue with this design now, I just have to do something like send out my design for infraworks. So like you have your own is just directly to infraworks. But here now I will just do my export to IMX. Said I just save drawing before I export. So I already press Ctrl S. So I want to recharge. Let me recharge my balance so I can, because I can't access my own to the internet. Ctrl S. It's my video.
You just started. You only at the same name because something about it. You know with those times other people that have to then I don't understand. Why do you want to be a part of that?
I think I'm out of internet on this guy's phone. Oh shit.
Maybe it's because I'm the son of a coal miner and a waitress, not a bank president.
So I have difficulty starting infraworks now.
Make you stop feeling weird.
But I don't have internet and I want to subscribe now. It's not just clear.
It's about being someone. It's about being relevant. I graduated.
So once I have that, I just click on my export. Like you will click on send to infraworks. What is it giving you? And on that, go to output. Export IMX. Export. Okay, export to IMX.
Hello.
So it's gonna ask you current drawing what has been. I don't say yeah. You save yeah.
Calm down. Calm down.
Yes.
No. Just keep them right off.
Hannah's still at the office?
Yeah, she knows that. She's someone needs to see. Someone needs to see.
Can I click on the export again? What does it say now, please? Enter device. Is having problem? File. Yeah. Oh, let me delete that. Okay, repeat that operation.
Your girl's so calm. You put up this one here. If they're telling what you just told me. You gay? Can I hear you? Is it like that now? They're good to always supply a small construction company. Mr. Williams came to see me. Everybody's keeping the kid and how you twisted them. I don't know what you're doing.
So press enter.
So it's just letting go. He's taking out.
Yes.
No, I don't think you do. You offered me $10,000 to kill your phone.
So it has been exported out. As we have our infraworks up and running now.
There's some people.
I don't know. GT has been messing up since yesterday. Do this online recharge. doing good since yesterday.
Maybe my address is going on. Good morning. Okay, so. Problem is my insurance $9 million. So I'm doing to find somebody to deal. Fucking go serious. You know what I mean? I talked to them. I looked in the job. Still being for the now they use.
Richard Williams had a hitman?
Employee construction worker. A construction worker don't keep killing people. He just prefers they be old enough to vote.
He doesn't kill kids. Heartwarming, right?
It's crazy. Richard Williams is 43 years old. Runs his own business. Got a wife and a daughter. An 8-year-old daughter. A lot of guys from where he came from his age and arrested half a dozen times. He's got no criminal record.
Meaning what? You don't think he would go through it?
I think he's a good man. If I hadn't got done no release, I don't even think he'd just sit.
You didn't draw attention to this. You had a legal obligation to defend your client, and I want to tell you that. Can I smoke in here?
No. Okay, the question is, what are we dealing with? Serious threat when only thought he just shot off his mouth in a moment of rage.
How can we know that? We can't.
Maybe we can. Derek told Richard he needed more time to decide than maybe tomorrow. So, maybe we keep him. Maybe Derek won't do it, but we recommend somebody that will. Oh, because I'm the only one here with a manslaughter conviction and prison time, you automatically think of me. It's good, you know. It's very noble.
But can we really do that?
Right. Richard Williams is a decent guy. We cannot go to the cops until we know that he's for real.
What's going on? I'm nothing. Sleep.
Me again. I'm not stupid, Dad. I know what's going on. All four of you whispering in the kitchen in the middle of the night? I've seen it before. We're leaving, aren't we?
Nobody's leaving.
We just got here. You know, I finally have friends.
Okay, first of all, you have always had friends. And second of all, if you would just take 2 seconds and breathe, we'd be extremely relieved because we are not leaving. This is our home. It's not changing. We were discussing a problem that I'm having.
Promise?
Promise. You're done. Where did you get? You know what? Don't even tell me. He's here, Ray. You sure you can handle this? Here's my office. Derek told me about it for a long time. It's not up to you. It's not pushing it. Didn't do it. Why don't we continue this conversation with those things we can't take back? So you want to down walk away. I can't do that. Listen to you, my friend. Sounds cases never let the system. The hell with the system. Derek says you're family means. You want to know about my family? I adopted and sent my daughter to school, the same school where my son was there.
I think without choice, I just start. Tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't know. I even tried to recharge my GT.
If you can't help me,
Still the same thing.
I'll find somebody if you can.